Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly marshal today. No, I won't be. I'll be your friendly referee. Guys, we're playing Savage Worlds today. Sorry. I didn't mean to spring it on you this way, but I'll be your friendly referee today because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Mongoose Publishing's outstanding Traveler 2nd Edition science fiction role-playing game, and we are playing through a modified version of their Borderland Run module. And with me today are the stars of the Borderland Run campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'll be playing Dr. Ilyas Abdel, a physician, part owner of the Rift Wanderer, and currently desperately trying to remember his etiquette lessons when dealing with nobility.
Which spoon do I use? Oh no! Next up is Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham, and I am playing Dane Loverick, Ronin, Person of the Waves.
Very nice. You're reminding me, my sister has been visiting this week, so I have not caught up with Shogun, but I can do that this evening. So, I've really enjoyed the first couple of episodes, just fucking stellar stuff. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I am playing Alonso Santoro. He is a writer and journalist and troublemaker.
Nice. And last, but certainly not least, is James.
Hey, I'm James, and I'm playing Captain Ganny, the erstwhile shareholder and captain and diligent engineer of the ship.
Nice. He's got his associate's degree now from the University of Space Phoenix.
And lots of bonus points that he can use in the store. So.
Nice. Good. All right. So then last
loyalty
time
points.
Saw our travelers on the planet of Drinax. So, guys, this was our approach to Drinax, and then we spent some time on the surface as well. There have been some upgrades and modifications. Now, James, were you here when the modifications were made to the Rift Wanderer?
We had the turret. I remember we got the triple turret. And with us, what did we were getting the pulse laser, but I'm not sure if we got the sandcaster as well.
Okay,
we did.
Nice.
I think we did.
So that was the 2 sessions ago. Last session, guys, what do you recall happening last time? I will share one thing as a little bit of a... Oh, it's right. Yeah, I always forget which campaigns where it automatically files my cleverly named handouts and where it stays at the top. This is one where it hides it, so I really need to be mindful of what I've named things. This one wasn't hard to find, though, but guys, I finally loaded the illustration I was looking for. The Iridium Throne, or the Dragon Throne. Yeah. But I may be doing a little bit of sleight of hand there with that particular illustration.
I was going to say, I don't think we quite got there yet.
Yeah.
Well, we got to we've seen the throne. We've not seen the person in the picture because, unfortunately, we've yet to meet King Olaf himself.
Yeah. What happened last time, guys?
We just spent, a lot of lovely recreational time in the beautiful manicured gardens of the floating palace of King Olaf, and they were lovely. And we just spent time there, just gathering our thoughts. And I think that's all that happened, really, wasn't it? That was just.
There certainly was no sinister cast, that fell over the experience of that artificial.
Yeah.
Well,
we met with her.
Yes, we managed to get an audience, but we had hope was with King Olaf. But when we got to the palace, Princess Rao met us instead. This seemed very friendly and lovely and all, but Lily has her own agenda, and it got a bit tricky when we had to do the whole. We kind of have a message, but we've kind of said we would only give it to your father. No offense, but to kind of maybe take offense or what's very curious about it. So there was a bit of back and forth about. But we left on, I think, decent-ish terms. Wasn't sure if we would get an invite back, so went back to the gardens. But we did receive an invite back. And I think we're back in the throne chamber. But once again, it's not King Olaf, it's her. And we had a discussion about the situation with her and her brother, and who might be the heir apparent now, and what might be going on with the family, and how much we've now gotten involved into royal politics that we really didn't want to get involved in.
And it was a couple of days. It was a couple of days between these two meetings.
Yes.
So it wasn't half an hour or something like that. It was a couple of days. Plenty of time for the royal family to have sorted itself out, and for us to be able to deliver this message to the correct person, the actual king himself. Strangely, though, he still hasn't shown up, and Princess Rao has returned. I mean, I assume just to guide us to the king. I'm sure that's what's going to happen next. He said, looking at his feet.
I'm trying to think. You also learned that there was an off-world. It's an off-worlder named Rakondo who seems to run Rakondo's Bazaar. The sort of catch-all. It's at D, so right in here. The place that offers all the variety of items that come from off-planet. You've managed to get a sense of some of what the court looks like as well too. We talked about how the unlike what some stagnant societies where you might see them fall into very personal kind of eccentricities or whatnot, this place seems to have clung to the same kind of style and whatnot that would date back to the Sindalan Empire. So while it is there is a wide variety of different individuals and whatnot from off-world that you would meet here, particularly in Rakondo's Bazaar, the Dranaxi themselves seem a deeply conservative culture that just seems to be continuing on with the same, same cultural elements, same fashions and whatnot as their predecessors and ancestors have. Which, if you've had a chance to review their genetic data, like Dr. Ilias has, would suggest that is a trend that does go below skin deep.
Well, we saw an Aslan in the gardens.
Yeah.
Which was unusual because they're not really friends.
Yeah, there was also something, speaking, you mentioned a word in your intro that we talked a bit about the Ronin as well, too, and how the concept of the Ronin differs from, say, or at least the Earth concept of Ronin differs from the Ihate, where the Ihates, while they are second sons and kind of going out on their own and can be problematic for the region if you don't want your, some pissed off noble Aslan second son coming to try and take over your planet. But they remain members of their family, which is, part of why Tila Toro is in the position that he's in right now and his family is in. But curiously, the Aslan that you guys had spotted, I think it was Dane actually who picked up that there was no markings, there was no insignia, no marking of family on this person whatsoever, which may mark them as truly more like a Ronin, someone who's a masterless warrior, as opposed to someone who is a second son trying to find their own fortune outside of the largesse of their family. I think that's the first time I've used largesse on the stream. Pretty happy.
Yeah.
So, what is there anything else that we missed from last time? You guys did not speak to, just so you know, Captain. No one spoke to the Aslan afterwards, or to Rakondo in great detail, apart from just sort of general chatting. There was some chat about what to do for further further trade, but I think the consensus was to travel on an empty stomach, as it were, until you reach the next location so that no one can track where you're going. Although I don't think you guys landed on whether there would be any free trade that you guys would want to indulge in. Or
I don't think we decided yet.
Not free trade, speculative trade. Yeah. So, anything else we missed, or does that bring us up to speed?
That's pretty good.
Okay.
I think we're still resolved. Just to say, particularly to Dr. Ilias, I think we're still resolved to continue to maintain our line in terms of who gets the message. I mean, let's see what we get.
Okay. Captain Ganny, you would have had an opportunity to ask questions or to take any steps in relation to things that happened up until the second audience before the Dragon Throne or the Iridium Throne. Have you any questions, or is there anything that you think Captain Ganny would want to do or talk about in those 2 days in between?
No, let's pretend Captain Ganny is obsessed with the fitting of the turret and generally going around the stores for engine bits.
Yeah. Okay. Then our scene will open with all of you before. Oh, I didn't grab my Navy book, but we did spend a fair bit of time yesterday last session holding up pictures of Imperial uniforms to the camera. So we did determine that a saber is definitely part of the naval saber is certainly part of the dress uniform.
I think cutlass
or cutlass. Cameras a cutlass or a saber.
I think cutlass, but I think for this second audience, I'm going to find a very smart, I'm happy to pay, very smart but incredibly drab accountant suit to wear, and not my military uniform. Just very plain grey, stylish, well turned out, so appropriate, but I'm going to eschew completely any military regalia.
Dr. Ilias, you are the one most versed in appearing before, what's the word I'm looking for here? Capricious planetary nobles. What's your thought on how that might appear, or how that may be viewed by the local royalty?
I think it'll be. I mean, she commented on us being such a strange mix of fellow travelers, given our sort of distinguished military service and other things. So I think she'll definitely make note of it. And could perceive it as an insult.
One, you would also be expecting. Remember, when you went into this, you guys were expecting to be appearing before King Oleb.
Yeah.
So the conversation in the context of what this appearance would be before King Oleb. I imagine you wouldn't know that you were meeting with her.
Yeah. So I think Dr. Ilias would definitely say that if we are about to meet the king, the other uniform might be more appropriate.
Yeah. Okay. I'll stick it on.
Yeah, I get the inclination, and it's not a guarantee that their offense would be taken necessarily. Because there's certainly, it's like anything, right? Like where one could see offense, someone else could say, well, no, I'm intending to, whatever the explanation is. But
I think that's fair. And I think Dane would say to you, you're right, Dr. Ilias. I think the mistake was mine in going in the first place in the uniform. That was my mistake. I'll just have to live with it now, at least for now.
Well, if all goes well, we'll hand over the message and we'll be off here as soon as these guns are mounted on the ship. So,
I mean, surely that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. What possible curveball could be thrown? Then you and Captain Ganny, I trust that you are. One question for you: do you wear your dress uniform from the Scout Service or from the Navy? Anna's very curious of that.
I guess I'd wear Scout Service as being less contentious on the whole.
It would be
Even though I'm secretly more a Navy man.
Oh yeah, like I had assumed that like whenever you had to go to dress functions as a member of the Scout Service, that you wore your Imperial Navy uniform. Just based on comments that Captain Ganny has made before, but
Oh, Captain Gani is Navy to the core.
Yeah.
But he's not entirely stupid that outside the Imperium it can be a little bit more iffy.
so you would have known then that
So he
like,
may dust off the he may rip the tear on the vac pack of his IISS uniform for the occasion.
See, I don't. So you would know already that because the first audience would have been with Dane wearing a naval uniform, with Anchor wearing a naval uniform. What would Captain Ganny have worn to the first audience?
Oh, heaven! Then if the rest were wearing it, yeah, I would have worn Navy as well.
Okay. Again, I really want.
Once I was doing that, I may as well keep wearing it.
I'm not trying to suggest that there is a right answer for this. Just I really, that does seem to me that
Yeah, he wouldn't not be wearing Navy if other people were.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Dane will wash his hair.
Yeah.
Have a shave. I don't know.
Yeah. So then, with all of that said, so this brings us back to, and again, just one last chance here. Anything that would have happened, Captain, between first, or any insight you would have had into going into the second audience, where you think you're meeting with King Oleb this time? Oh, you're muted, James. Sorry, I can see you moving, but so everyone toast to Mo.
Toast to Mo.
No, because I'm behind the curve. I will be, assume I'm following the party line, as it were.
Okay.
So
then you guys have once again.
I will diverge later.
Okay. So let me do this here. I think just because I like that illustration quite a bit. Let me slap this on top of the floating palace here. There he is in all his glory. King Oleb himself. All right. However, when you came into this massive empty chamber, and one of the things I had talked about last time is everything is so crowded in the Sky Palace. Like it's very difficult to get away from people. Even in the park, there are students who are out there, taking advantage of all the greenery and whatnot, who are coming from the Scholars Tower, people in the region who have been sent to study here. And this is a stark contrast. When you come in, there is nobody in here, or at least there isn't anyone who is obviously, standing out. You can see standing in but not concealed in the shadows, there are members of the Star Guard, or the House Guard. Well, I guess they'd be one and the same. The Venn diagram of Star Guard and House Guard would have a overlapping part with the Iridium Throne right in the center. And then when you made your way forward, you bowed before the throne once again, and stepping out of the shadows, we have once again Princess Rao. And I think that was the cliffhanger we left our last session on. Mm-hmm. We may be playing this with a modern RPG, but we are definitely embracing our, Flash Gordon matinee serial sensibilities. What is the reaction, apart from a bit of, I imagine, side-eye amongst the travelers?
Dr. Elias will bow in whatever the correct method is, and will try his best not to show any sign of disappointment or irritation at meeting her and not King Oleb.
Yeah.
He'll be just super above board and everything, and just be friendly and give her whatever the appropriate,
Yeah.
Your Highness, it's a pleasure to see you again, that sort of thing.
Sure. Why don't you give us a... first, why doesn't everyone give us a D6 roll? Let's see how much luck we're working with today.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, boy. We are Okay, we're making big moves this week. Oh yeah. Oh, we're on fire.
Yeah.
Let's press our luck today.
And someone roll for me, please.
Oh, sure.
My thing seems to have
I
locked.
got it.
I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
All
Nice.
right. So
Did I do well? Did I do well,
19
guys?
luck.
Yeah, you got us another
You
5.
did.
Pretty good. All right. So then, would you kindly give us a diplomat roll? I'm going to make this a contested roll. Once again, thank you guys for giving me an excuse to use my Marvel multiversal dice. They are my favorite dice to roll.
And I think that I was going to say while he's rolling there, I think that Alonzo's reaction is almost a little bit different than that. He thinks that she must like us. Like, she keeps showing up. Like, I think she's kind of like, you know, she's interested in us. You know, she likes us. That's why she's here.
How would you put it, Dane? I think she fancies me.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe she likes Dane. You know, he's exciting. I don't know. I think she likes us. Dr.
Okay,
Ilias,
wow.
he's a good-looking man. Maybe she's looking for a suitor. I don't know.
Sadly, he's just he appears to have just massively sneezed when he was trying to sort of say.
All right, so a 6. Would you care to spend any luck on that? I did get an 8. But I guess the other question is do you care? She's looking for the surprise, you know, to sort of surprise you, to catch you off guard.
Right, I think I let it ride because I think last time we also had the moment after the first audience where Dr. Ilias was a bit rattled in the gardens at sort of thinking back to his previous encounter. So maybe this is sort of still, he's tried, but he can't help but kind of go, of course he's playing these games. Why can't we just hand over this missive to King Olaf and be on our way? So I think maybe a flash of irritation does show. Or
Yeah.
I think Dane has got his game face on. I think he's almost. He certainly doesn't care about her. I mean, he recognises the threat that she may pose, but he doesn't care. All he's looking at, he's thinking is, right, the Starguard's there. That angle is here. If I move slightly to the left, I could tuck roll and get. And he's all he's thinking about is how to get out and what all the fire angles are.
What is? Sorry, I'm just gonna.
She sees something out there, Kev.
Oh, but there's someone getting out of a car across the street. So
Very
obviously,
slowly.
you know what it is?
How dare they?
It has been a little slippery. So I mean, the translation may be faulty here, but what she's saying is, watch your step. Watch your step. It's a little slippery. She's a conscientious neighbor.
Exactly.
So then with you guys, I think let's do this. So one thing I was thinking about is we have been using recon, or I've been using recon as kind of the go-to for kind of our perception checks. Mm-hmm. And I think that in dangerous situations, I'm going to continue doing so. But I think investigate is probably a suitable substitute with intelligence or intellect. And I think diplomat would also, with intellect, would also be an opportunity to kind of gauge things. So I'd like to try and use like less of like one tool for one job with your guys. So if anyone would like to try and gauge her reaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
think I will.
Ooh.
Yeah, and anybody
nice.
can roll too. This will be what you guys will not be able to freely communicate because Alonzo's telepathic powers. He is able to open a telepathic connection between all of you, but it also is accompanied by a like 10 out of 10 migraine. So you know.
Oh yeah, but who knows? Next week, you never know.
Oh, this is so much better than an earpiece. Ah! That's pretty good. All right, so Alonzo and Dr. Abdel, both of you, what you would see is you fail to conceal, or just decide not to conceal your sort of like your reaction. Look at that, Captain! Holy smokes!
Oh wow!
Yeah, all of you can see that there is one eyebrow arched coyly and one corner of her mouth that kind of goes up in a hint of a shadow of a smirk. But you all pick it up of like, we're giving her exactly what she relishes in this. So, and I think that Captain Ganny, you would actually all of you, because those are all quite good rolls. You would all be able to pick up that there is definitely something. There's a degree to which this can be played to your advantage. If she's getting what she wants out of this and is obviously doing so. So if you choose to lean into that in dealing with her, you may find something. And Captain Ganny, because you rolled so well, I'll give you a little bit of information too. It is only... make sure to mute yourself in roll 20 as well, James.
Sorry, we said
that is quite all right. What you see, Captain Ganny, is there is a... I think you've muted and then successfully unmuted yourself. That's... Your eyes, Captain Ganny, you can see that her eyes flicker for just a fucking second up to the left and right. Or not left and right, the upper left. Left and right. She's having a seizure. Oh my god. Captain Tartarilius. No. Her eyes seem to go somewhere very quickly and then dart back almost like fast as a fencer's foil. That's my Stan Lee sentence for the session. The rest of you don't pick up on this, but Captain Ganny, you do. So she steps out, and she says, "The Iridium throne, the Dragon throne, and King Oleb welcomes you before his court once again." And she sort of curtsies. You can see she's wearing a slightly different outfit, and it is equally expensive, but this one seems to have not like a frill around the back, but it has the illusion of it, where there are tiny little what must be like micro robots encrusted in unbelievably expensive gems that are translucent and seem to follow around her almost like honestly, it's like a very specific and small-scale version of those kind of like drone lights in the sky kind of things. She comes forward, and you can see that there is a similar trail of these little, micro robots behind, where she positions herself directly before the dragon scale throne. It casts from all those little motes of light a very eerie kind of like, not eerie, it's a very dramatic, almost like jack-o'-lantern-esque thing, illuminating those teeth, or what has been fashioned into teeth. And Captain Ganny, we talked about this last time, but there's two things you can tell about the Iridium throne. One, the scoring and the marks of battle that are on the portions of starship hull that have been fashioned together, those are not faked. These have genuinely been, or seem to be at least, as the legend goes, taken from the hulls of thousands of ships destroyed by the Sindalan Navy to fashion this throne. And the other thing you notice is all the amount of fine detail that's been put into here would have been an extraordinarily difficult task given the hardness of the starship hull. So these things are not designed to be carved into the shapes or worked into the shapes that they are. Her dress seems to accentuate many of those finer details, and indeed give her the look of standing at the open maw of some gigantic reptilian horror. And she says...
That's high tech for you.
Yeah. So she stands looking down at you all, and there is a silence that hangs in the audience chamber as she waits to hear what the fuck you want.
And if I look across to where she was looking when she glanced, do I see anything that sticks out to me?
Are you obviously looking, or are you trying to hide where you're looking?
I will try and surreptitiously, scratch my,
Yep.
loosen my neck in my stiff navy collar, and
have you training in deception?
of course not. I'm a very straightforward man.
Okay. So this will be amusing. Why don't you go ahead and give us a deception roll, please? I mean, this is what you have luck for as well.
Yeah. Well, what we don't want to.
Let's see how you do. Come on, Captain. Let's see those 2 6s.
Just how do I actually get it to go on this? Okay, so now so of course it's the speed that doesn't help. Now doing it.
I'm sorry to ask,
Fine,
Jeff,
it's
but
disappeared.
does Alonso have deception?
I do.
I just thought you might.
You
Sorry.
you seem scruffy as fuck. What?
Well, you're a journalist. I just assumed you deception.
I do have deception.
Okay.
Oh, am I supposed to roll it? Sorry.
No, unfortunately,
No.
the captain is the
I'm
only
just
one who
trying
saw
to-
that.
No.
Yeah, he's the
But
only one who saw that
unfortunately-
kind of like, you
Yeah.
know,
Our captain's a diplomat,
fleeting glance.
not a deceptive person.
The captain is trying to, but he's trying to be so surreptitious that he can't even do
Can't
it.
even do the roll.
It looks like it's slowly progressing.
Look
There you
at
go.
that.
Oh, what? That's diplomat.
Oh, you did roll diplomat though, but we can
What's
work
the
backwards
roll?
from that.
Oh, hang on.
6
Did
and a
I?
5.
No, that's my old roll. The other one's still coming.
Oh, you
coming
have
by
rolled
pigeon
diplomat
post.
already. Did you roll diplomat twice?
Yeah, I rolled diplomat earlier when
Oh boy.
I think I was supposed
Okay,
to
so
roll
maybe
investigate. So,
it might
so
be-
deception's on its way. Oh, no, you're right. Diplomat. Why? Why I pressed deception? Yeah, the 13 was meant to be deception.
meant to be deception. I thought so. Okay. So
Okay.
what? Deception
6 and a 5.
uses intellect. Did you roll diplomat with intellect that time?
Yes.
Okay. So then.
So it should be -2 from that, or -3 from that.
-3, so that's
So
a 10 still then.
Wow.
So that
Wow.
is really, you would be making Alonso proud in the cautious way that you are able to do it. So you did look over, and what you look over in there, and for the faintest of seconds, you think you can see something moving a little. There's something moving in the upper region of the chamber.
Uh-huh.
Like it might be a drone, or it might be something bigger. So
Ooh.
you see that, and then are able to look back, and seemingly Princess Rao has not noticed, or at least gives no indication that she noticed you looking. What do you guys say? She has welcomed you before the court, before the dragon throne.
Dr. Ilias, are you doing this? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I think that Elias will sort of, to do the appropriate courtesy and say we are honored and pleased to have been called back before the Iridium throne. And hope this day finds you well and in good health.
And you, Doctor, our king, has requested that, as is fitting in my role, to assist our great king in his diplomatic endeavors in the region, that you deliver your message to me as his envoy. And rest assured, while you are not before his grand personage, I am his proxy in all matters diplomatic.
I think Dane's starting to look a bit bored, actually, and possibly transparently so.
Would Dr. Ilias, would you give us a diplomat intelligence or intellect check again, please? So it's been 2 weeks since we last played. Do you remember the language she used when describing King Oleb last time?
Yes, she alternated sort of weirdly between just going "Papa" and His Extreme Majesty, and now she seems to be all His Extreme Majesty has. She seemed to be weirdly sort of mixing the formal and the informal last time.
Yeah. This most definitely is different from that.
Our blessed monarch.
So, Dr. Ilias, Dane seems to be zoned out. Like this is a form of battlefield in which he is not comfortable. So,
very worrying, given Dane's past. I think Dr. Ilias would. I mean, I don't think he would see an obvious way of. I mean, she's probably right if she is the proxy, without actually causing offense. You can't think of an immediate way of just saying, "Can you prove that?" Or
yeah. So while you're thinking that, I will point something out because I did not. There is one part of the description that may be germane for Captain Gani's decisions, and that is the particular uniform of the House Guard. The House Guard wears a very advanced kind of, combat armor and whatnot. It has all the, you can picture all the accoutrements and, excess frills and whatnot you would expect from the quasi, like, late 60s, early 70s sci-fi that the Sindalan Empire is kind of based on. But accompanying that, they also wear anti-gravity belts, because they are the wing guard. And that is because they, like their captain, would like to fly, they makes a dramatic entrance to be coming in. It's part of the reason why the ceilings are so high in here. And one of the less kind rumors that you may remember Ultima 1 sharing with you in his time is that people say that King Oleb's bulk is so impressive at this point that he requires 2 belts in order to support his flybys as part of his house wing guard. So you would know all what the instructions were that the intercessor gave you to deliver this message. You would all appreciate the position that Dr. Ilias now finds himself. But only Captain Gani has noticed that something is moving where our princess has looked. What do you guys do?
I can't say anything right now. There's things I'm desperate to say, but
I'm apoplectic with rage.
Yeah, it's tricky because I can't. I don't think I could really say anything. Obviously. So
just think it very loudly, and maybe Alonso will pick up on it.
King Alonso.
I think that Ilias will sort of incline his head and say some. How to rephrase it? You are to be. Your father is blessed to have someone as diligent and resourceful as yourself as his sort of proxy. We are delighted to hand over the message. Of course, it's just I think I speak for all of us when we say we are disappointed in not getting to meet the illustrious King Oleb himself. We've heard such wonders about him, and we would like to thank him for his hospitality.
Indeed, and I say, and it's so disappointing. I turn and I address this to Dr. Ilias as much as anything else. It's so disappointing, is it not, that the message was it was so clear that the message had to go specifically to King Oleb that it negates our purpose here. It is really disappointing. And I turn back, and my face is bored again.
You can see that the princess is... I'm trying to think of how best to describe her. She's not perturbed by it. She seems to be... I would think maybe assessing. You have that once again, that look of a cat assessing its live dinner, kind of getting the measure of you almost. Alonso or Captain Ganny, have you anything further to add?
Just that I don't know how much longer we can stay here on planet. So he's thinking like, he's not sure if we just give this thing to her and just be done with the business and move on because we have other business. I don't know. If there's trouble or there's whatever, that's not our worries. That's their problem. We don't have to be a part of it. What are we gonna do? We're gonna sneak into the king's chamber to try and directly hand this to him, or what?
No, they just don't get it. The sods.
They just don't get the message. We keep it.
We just don't deliver it. Yeah. They'll
Yeah.
break. They'll break at some point. Or break us.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Ilias, from the sounds of what you've said, you're intending on delivering it to King Oleb's proxy. Is that correct?
I think in Dr. Elias's mind, he understands that there's politics going on here, but he's also, we have an important passenger, and if we get into trouble here, is echoing Alonso's thinking that, I mean, it's above our pay grade. We can always say, well, this is how they do things on Drenax. She is his proxy. We did as much as we could. Taking Dane's approach, I think Dr. Gillis would be like, that's just going to get us into so much trouble.
Yes.
So unless someone stops him, he will, in whatever form we have the message, data disk, or he's probably getting ready to...
Space thumb drive.
Yeah, to hand that over unless someone else intervenes, because he doesn't see any other way of...
As soon as the princess sees you draw this thing out from your pocket, you can see as soon as you reach inside your pocket, the Starguard likewise is all paying attention. Yeah. You draw this out, and she says, "You may approach the throne."
You just hear a sort of grunt of disapproval from Dane. I'm going to have to go with your judgment here, but no. Just, yes. No.
I approach the throne in whatever, however you're meant to approach each step at a time, leading up to it.
You could be imagining things, but it seems as if there's so much care that has gone into setting this place up to be a, impressive kind of and finely detailed chamber, all like down to there isn't a single section of a pillar or a accent piece or whatnot that does not have clearly deliberate design on it. But it feels like the steps here are irregular in width and in height, almost as if it's intended to throw you off your game as you're making your way up towards it. Because you have to be conscious of where your feet are going. You can't just, easily trot up there. But you make your way up, and she takes it from your hand. And there is, it may not surprise you, because I imagine the Pharaohs did something similar too. But as soon as you get into a certain distance, once you're within 3 meters or 4 meters of her, there is a delightful scent that just hangs in the air. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it has that kind of somewhere between like a non-sharp citrus and a lavender, like a very complex scent, no doubt. Somewhere, secreted away, there is a perfumier who would be generations in working for specifically the right, royal scents. You deliver this to her hand, and then you're able to make your way.
I wonder what intensely researched pheromones are sort of invested in this to sort of evoke and accentuate. I bet there are, but it's there. But it's there.
Yeah. Battlefields are fought on many, many fronts, and the what do you call it? The limbic system, I think would be. Is that the right one? I don't know. I'm not. That is likewise one of them. So anyway, you make your way back down, and she says, "Thank you. We will consider this message. And do you intend to depart our king's kingdom soon?"
Indeed, we are waiting for some work to be done on our ship, and once that is done, we will unfortunately have to say our farewells to the splendor of Drenex.
Then your intent is not to deliver whatever reply that King Oled may have to Hilfer.
We are merely messengers to deliver the message to King Oleb or his proxy. We were not instructed or asked to deliver any replies.
Then, on behalf of our king, I thank you for your diligence in delivering this message.
I think, out of character, it would be funny if we accepted the reply and then just buggered off on our own mission.
A message back to the princess and just like, So, then, unless there's anything else, she dismisses you, and you are able to go. Captain Ganny, would you give us an investigate check, please, using intellect? Unfortunately, you were the only one. There is a chance you may spot something. Is this another thing that you're not trained in? God, I hope so.
It is. So you'll have to wait 10 minutes while it loads.
That is okay.
I clicked the button now. Talk amongst yourselves, people. Okay, here we go. Investigate.
Okay. Then, once you guys, we will set our good King Oleb aside for a moment here. Oops, what am I doing? I'm on the wrong layer. Map layer, there we go. Place him down below here for now. Once you guys step out of the chamber, and once we see the result of the roll, I'll let you know what you may or may not see, Captain. But where do you guys intend on going? I think we said, was it a week for construction?
It's about that. How many days has it been, though?
You've been here for 3 days thus far.
3.
It was, like one of trade and whatnot. And then there was 2 fucking around. I think it's either 3 or 4, so it's probably only 2 or 3 days left before you're.
So I've just seen Captain Ganny's investigate roll, which is now turned up. It's a humdinger.
It's pretty good stuff. So, Captain, if you wish to spot, if you wish to make that a success, you will need to spend 5 luck.
Oh.
You guys do have 19 luck today, though. So
Yeah, it might be worth it.
That is fair.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on,
let's
why
go
not?
with that then, just for...
Yeah, let's find out. You've got so far.
Captain,
Let's burn those cookies.
you are making your way along because of your incredible deception roll from before. No one is going to notice this, but as you are going along, you are able to spy, or maybe even just as you turn, you are able to turn around and spy a quick look. And curiously, what you see, almost drifting out of the shadows, coming down, a pair of brilliantly polished military boots. Almost as if someone is dangling from, or perhaps hovering in the shadows of that corner, who did not wish to be seen.
Ryan, is that you? Let me...
So, that's what you...
Are they very nice boots?
They are exceptionally well maintained. You're not going to be able to get a lot of detail out of it, but what you can tell is they look indistinguishable from any of the combat boots that make part of the Wing Guard's armor. Okay. So, but outstanding, and I only mean that the quality of these, you're not going to have a great deal of time to look at these in detail, but what they seem as well maintained as what any could have been, although the Royal Guard's armor is likewise, spit polished to a buckle. But you all leave the audience in the throne, which is leaving here. Are you going back to the garden once again, guys?
Yeah, I think we should head through the garden. At least Ortelius would head through the garden. That's sort of clear his head and banish the scents and the darkness from the throne chamber.
Yeah. Yeah, that... Are you saying scent? S-C-E-N-T-S?
Yes.
Yeah. It definitely lingers. Yeah, it is one of those oily things where you're like clearing your nose trying to get it out. So you guys step outside. What happens next? The bright blue skies above you, the gorgeous gardens stretch before you. Everyone in the garden seems to be having, once again, a lovely... whoever is relaxing in here is enjoying the splendor of the Dranaxi Gardens.
Good. Well, yeah.
As well as we could hope, I assumed.
Oh, yeah. So we're not staying here very long, are we? We're going to get this, let's see how we're doing with the turret, and then we're off, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
We just go.
Should probably leave before we get asked to deliver a reply.
Oh, we're not delivering a reply.
No.
We're not. Yeah, no.
No.
Well, it's another way of going round.
Yeah. I think we need to do the maths on the time. I think we might run out of time.
All right, so I'll let people know that there was them boots up there.
How do you phrase that?
Lads, I did spot somebody was listening in on us. Somebody that the princess knew about, but drew no attention to. So one might almost think that perhaps
would
the king
explain
was,
her different attitude from our previous audience.
Possibly. My take is that was a test, and we failed it. That's my take. I could be wrong. But tactically, presenting yourself as the person that should receive it will test the mettle of the people who sent the message, who are delivering the message, as to whether we are going to be honor, if you like, what the absolute requirements of the person who entrusted the message to us. And it was a state of our mettle between following the protocols and trying to do the diplomatic thing, which I think is probably right, Dr. Ilias, versus holding our word against such pressure. And maybe His Highness was there to watch the spectacle of us squirming as she insisted and got it off us. And I think it's that's my take, and I could have interpreted that completely wrong. But it's the sort of thing tactically I might do in a combat situation, but replace some of the pieces. I don't know. Interesting though. If it was him, King Olep, interesting.
Then it reminds you that I made the right decision leaving the last gilded palace I was hosted in.
Yeah, well, I I sense somehow, Dr. Elias, that won't be your last.
Yeah, our travels are going. But you raised a good point earlier there, Dane. I'm not sure I've asked this before, but what happens if we miss the delivery window?
The delivery window for our passenger?
Yes.
Then I think it is pretty much whatever plans that might be he might have in place to resolve his situation, they would come unstuck very badly if he was to be late for his appointment. That would finish him from an honor point of view.
Yeah, and likewise, on a non-personal basis, it does seem like we're talking about some pretty significant political upheaval in the High Red and their proxies in the Reach.
Yeah.
Or at least for certain families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to crack on, I think.
Yeah.
So, you will have at least another 2 days of free time as guests of the Floating Palace.
Right.
What would you guys care to do with your time here? If anything. Captain, I'm not sure you've had an opportunity to enjoy any of the downtime activities apart from shopping. There was some discussion of further shopping as well. I think some people have picked up some Alonzo in breaking with Jeff's long-held tradition of having the worst gun of anyone in the crew in a sci-fi game. Has elected to make an upgrade to his own personal hardware.
Yeah. I have completed that. I now have a ghost pistol.
Nice.
I think I'll just settle for, because I'm not really a gunfighter, but I'll settle for getting, a half dozen more clips for the the 2 rifles that we've got.
Okay. Anything else that you guys
high
can...
tech, so good place to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there anything else that you guys think you need for the ship or for personal use beyond just combat oriented gear? And is there going to be any speculative trade that you're going to indulge in, or are you going to go with an empty hull apart from the fuel bladder? Oh, Anna said you're muted, Graham. So a toast to Mo.
Thank you.
Mo.
Sorry, I was coughing. Forgot to put it back. I think given our finances, there's very limited. We've got very limited options for speculative trade in terms of what we can afford. And in some ways, that might just drive us on this occasion just to do the circumspect thing and just go empty.
Mm-hmm.
Take the hit on the costs. We can take the hit on the costs.
Okay.
That's my suggestion, but I'm happy for us to explore the speculative trade if you'd like.
More pain. It's a shame because we won't get Tech 15 stuff to take. But as you say, we can't get much, and it's probably just be a complication.
Yeah. Those mag rail rifles are amazing. Auto 6.
Yeah, as I say, I'll get a half dozen more
Auto
magazines
6.
of it.
Blimey.
Mm.
Well, again, it's the fact it doesn't punch holes in your ship that I like.
What's your weapon? You've got that, Gary?
It's the oh, hang on. I was just trying to look at the CSC.
Yeah. I'm looking at page
It's the
145.
mag rail rifle, I think.
It is the mag rail rifle. It's
That's
an
the Tech
amazing
level
weapon.
13 one, right?
It's 14 actually on here.
All right.
Mm.
But yeah.
Got it on the other world. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's got 0 penetration, so that's good.
Correct. It's just got auto 6. So, ouch.
Dane, would you like to add one to the locker?
What's the cost?
So we've got 2 at the moment, so we can put
2,500.
another one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm just wondering about. Sorry, I'm starting to go sort of like gun bunny mad here and start to think about. I'm now thinking explosives, grenades. Gosh.
Weapons of mass destruction. All
Yeah.
Well, there's a
Yeah,
pocket nuke on page 159.
I'm liking
we're
the look of
going,
the fusion
going
block.
all out, are
It
we?
is 25,000 credits, but I mean, if you really absolutely must blow up a ship,
I think a fusion block might be quite fun. That's AP 50 plus 12. No, forget it. Sorry, I'm just being fanciful with all the kit.
what about weapon modifications?
Oh yeah.
There's accessories like scopes and suppressors.
Yeah. I think if it's all right with you, could you leave that with me just to sort of? Oh, do you want to do that now? But I think
No,
it would
it's fine.
take time.
I'm fine with you guys. With the amount of
It's a good
money you
shout.
have
It's a
access
good
to,
shout.
like absent getting like fucking rail guns, I think you guys are. Oh yeah, because there's a ton of weapon accessories starting on page 174.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I'm
We'll also-
interested to see if there's any high-tech repair engineering or repair kits and things like that.
Okay, yeah.
Toolboxes I can get.
Yeah, so you guys can, we can assume that whatever commerce or additional commerce you wish to engage in. Dr. Illies, I know you got a windfall of drugs and medical supplies from your friend on Tech World, but is there any other supplemental stuff that you need to pick up or did we do that last time? I thought you did get some drugs last time.
We did it last time, yeah. I
Yeah,
got
the
some
size
drugs. I
suppressor
think
stuff.
Dr. Elias might, all of this gun toting isn't entirely his thing, but he might ask if there's maybe a better piece of protective gear like armor. I think he currently has a suit of mesh armor. I mean, I would check
Okay.
that if there's something.
yes, there is.
Given how lethal, I have cloth armor, I think.
Yeah.
So TL10 protection plus 8. So he would happily
nice.
inquire if there's is that good, or he would happily
Yeah.
inquire if there's something better, or obviously something that isn't like super bulky.
I think that's a good midpoint option.
Without going to full military armor, it's a good bit of kit.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You guys currently have your basic vac suits in the ship as well, too. That is something you could consider upgrading here. The basic vac suit gives you 4 protection and requires vac suit 1, but the improved and advanced give 8 and 10 respectively and require vac suit 0. I mean, you have been only operating in a vacuum in a limited capacity, if at all, so far, but space is vast. Anna agrees. Well, I will leave that to you. Apart from some light commerce, is there anything else you guys wish to do or to seek out while you are waiting for the alterations to the ship to be completed?
Elias will just see if there's any webinars or seminars or lectures at the university that he can attend.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you know what? Why don't you give us a, let's see here. Where is it here? Oh, yeah, I didn't grab a new. Well, the skill list isn't on the referee screen anyway. But boy, I'd love a fucking skill list in here. Why don't you just give us a raw intelligence or intellect check? I was looking because I think that there is, in previous editions, there is like instruction as a skill. Okay. So if you're spending a couple of days there, I'll give you an extra XP for the session, but it has to go towards whatever academic thing that you're going in. So whether that's science or whatever else.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to do anything else with their time?
Right. So I'd just like to suggest one bit of kit. The Starship repair kit I see. I think that's new to the new.
Oh, nice.
Right, yeah.
Where is that? What page is that?
So if you could knock, that's $4,000 off. That is on page 130.
130. Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
Starship Engineer Toolkit.
So $4,000. Okay. Anything else you guys wish to purchase? Nada?
No.
I
Okay.
don't think so.
Then, and nothing else you wish to do?
Oh no.
I think we want to. Well, I don't know. I think when we go and do things, horrible things happen. So I'm kind of like trying to keep our profile down. I want us to get off this rock as quickly as we can without causing any more problems.
So your first day goes by. Dr. Elias is attending his lectures. Second day goes by. Likewise, you're completing your commerce and whatever you've discussed thus far, as well as whatever other purchases you'll make. The third day comes by. You are nearing completion of your vessel. And that is when the summons arise.
No.
You have been offered an audience before the Iridium throne and King Oleb.
So, Dr. Ilias,
Once
can we
again.
just respectfully decline? Perhaps not.
Not respectfully. I think this is sort of, we are expected at their earliest convenience.
Right. Well,
If our ship was ready to leave momentarily, one might risk it, but seeing as we're still grounded, and it might be in our interest to go and play along.
what's the chances of a wine reception?
3%.
Yeah.
He's weighing his previous experience, like, okay, so Farrell, let's see, banished to the waste, executed in court, showered with favor. Oh yeah, there was that one time.
Yeah. Canapes, or I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. But this is a non sequitur. This is how fucking uncultured. The firm I ended up working with, my first firm I worked for, they always, like, firms in Canada, the articling is not the same as it is in England, at least, where there's a recruiting process and whatnot, and as part of that stuff, the firm I worked for had a reception, and I drank a lot at the reception, but while I was still a student, and as we're getting ready to wrap up and leave, we're going by, like, oh, let's grab some food before we go somewhere else, and I grabbed what I thought was a cheese ball, popped it in my mouth and bit down, and immediately went, oh, it's an eyeball! Not realizing that what it was a cheese-wrapped grape.
Like cheese. Oh, right.
It was the most unpleasant single bite I've taken in my entire fucking life. Oh, man.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So, that will give you a sense of how much of a culture vulture I am. Or not, as the case may be. But, so what is the feeling? The audience does specifically list all the members of crew. We'll assume Anchor was going to attend as well.
Yeah.
Well, Dane, if you think we failed some test, which we very well might have,
I don't know.
is this going to be some sort of punishment, some more amusement for them, or will we be asked to deliver a reply?
I did mention the jester's costumes that were delivered with it, right? Or no?
Explosives it is then. I think they'll try and get us to do something. think that's the most likely thing. I mean, they're not going to waste their time. I don't think even they are not going to waste their time just dangling toys in front of them to paw at. I think maybe this is the response, or indeed something else. They
You
may think
have
there was
one
some-
member of crew who has had experience being the focus of King Oleb's attention before.
If Ultima has any thoughts on this?
Do you wish to bring him in on it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's full crew at this stage, right?
It's full crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are sitting around, and what do you have? What is your question for him?
How worried should we be?
Yeah. How stupid are we?
My experience with King Oleb has been that he is a large personality, both in stature and in character. And while the place of a planetary royal certainly can have an effect on one's empathy, and I do get the sense that it does impact on King Oleb's. I did not find him to be particularly cruel, and I did not find him to relish in the cruelty of his court. King Oleb, in my estimation, fancies himself an inheritor of, to some degree, his ancestors. He would view himself as a warrior king, though in practice I think he is also mindful of the risk of your ambition extending your grasp. His predecessors learned that lesson quite well from the Aslan. I don't doubt that he wishes something from you. But I would, unless he has changed, and the prince is evidence of how that can happen. But unless he is a fundamentally different man than the one I had met, there is artifice in his actions. He is also an extraordinarily dramatic individual. If it is, as you say, Captain, that someone is or was lurking in the shadows to listen in, while some nobles would find that to be undignified, I think King Oleb would not agree with that. What do you think he wants?
I wonder if they're looking to hire. Might be an eclectic but skilled bunch of individuals with Third Imperium and other contacts. They are a relatively small power surrounded by much larger powers. They may well be looking, in my view, they may well be looking for some leverage by hiring skilled individuals for a variety of tasks which they may also be able to use with plausible deniability.
What was your impression? Does Rakondo still operate the bazaar?
Mm-hmm.
While he is truly a king to the Drinaxi, and he fancies himself a emperor in the making, the king knows the limitations of his people. Circumstances have forced them to live almost in a city in a jar. And his people's focus, the circumstances of their history, have focused their interests inward. And as such, there are not those among his people who can reliably deal with outsiders. King Oleb, I think, is fascinated by those things he finds different, such as myself. But he also relies upon them. I was not approached to assist the king, but I think that likely was because he took a measure of my intent to travel without suspicion among the Hyrate. And were I to speculate, I think he may have judged me as one not willing to betray the confidence of my Aslan hosts by traveling on his behalf. But I certainly got the impression he was measuring me up to be, as you put it, one of his agents. He may... You never learned what the contents of the intercessor's message were. Assuming that the intercessor's intention, as it was on Hilfer, was to bring order and stability so that profit might be enjoyed. If he wishes to extend that to a wider scope beyond the planet, I think King Oleb would be fertile ground in which to plant those plans. I would not characterize the king as cruel, but would easily agree if you found him to be ambitious. What will you do, then, if he extends this invitation to you to act as his proxy for a limited time or for an extended engagement?
I'm hoping we'll see a job application that I think I would like to put in elsewhere.
I see.
That will depend on circumstance and events. And I don't think I'm going to be available for hire after the next few weeks. That's my view. And Dane will just sort of, he'll probably have a knife and he's probably just sort of twizzling it on the table.
Is it a monkey knife?
Might be.
Right.
but I can't speak for the rest of you.
Yeah, we're picturing
It
this
might
taking
be a-
place in the crew lounge. With you guys all sitting
I can't
around.
speak the rest of you, and it might be a good gig. It might be a good gig. It might be some good money and some interesting work. Could be.
It's potentially is, yeah. I mean, I'm not against it.
Had quite my share of this sort of engagement on Simok, and I'm not right now looking at reliving past experiences, so I'd be inclined to say no to any offer of employment.
Fair enough.
And you, Captain?
Well, we want to hear the offer first, but I think we've got to fulfill our current one first. We always do what we start.
Guess there's a possibility that he might ask us to be his proxies while in case we are traveling to his neighbors. To Aslan space.
So long as we feel that doesn't conflict, I guess.
This is Ultima 1 speaking once again. I had my reasons at the time for being grateful that King Oleb did not approach me with any offer of engagement. But given the circumstances and the measure of the man I have at present, I would not reject an offer from him as part of this crew out of hand. The one factor I had not considered, I am confident that Jedico, I haven't seen us in a while. I am confident that Jedico has an agent active in the floating palace to monitor its interests. And given their role in my recent captivity, I would want to know who that was, and perhaps to conceal my participation as a member of this crew. But a patron like King Oleb, perhaps, might provide the shield for that, if I were to remain in the Reach. Any other questions for Ultima 1? Or for each other? Anna, you don't get a vote.
It'll probably be an individual decision for everyone, but as the captain has pointed out, we do have a current job to do that we have signed up for, and that I, for one, would like to see through to the end. Because what comes after, never say never if the offer is good enough. I am happy to support whatever decision individual members make if they decide that other offers are better.
Would be a good gig, but we're not currently for hire.
Okay. Then, why don't we take our mid-session break right now, and then we will come back and see how your audience with, well, at King Oleb's court goes. So,
Yeah, again.
No.
so for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Goodness.
All right. I think we are almost all back. Hey, everybody in chat. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to jump in. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Weather is still going on or winding up, depending on this time zone and circumstances, I suppose. All right. So anything else you guys wish to do before you have your third audience for the Dragon Throne?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no.
All right, then what feels like, I mean, once you're doing it 3 times in a given week, I imagine it's a lot closer to returning to the market, you know, than it is attending before royalty, but for the 3rd time, you are brought before the Iridium Throne. For the 3rd time, you enter with the winged guard hidden in the alcoves, and the throne itself seemingly empty. And then for the 3rd time,
Well,
stepping out of the shadows, is Princess Rao.
who else?
Of course.
I mean, to have, one audience may be regarded as a misfortune. To have 2 looks like carelessness, but 3...
You've got to comment that it's not often in a role-playing game that it's all a big disappointment when the princess turns up.
Yeah, really. We're trying to subvert expectations here in the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel.
and I do. Please, Kevin, please describe her dress to us, because I'm sure it's different again.
It is. This time, she is actually wearing something less elaborate and actually something more, I mean, for an interstellar princess of a genetically engineered society with unthinkable levels of technology, this is the equivalent of yoga wear.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, so you guys all show up once again dressed to the nines, but she is wearing, it is still astounding and still would like bankrupt some small cities on, other planets for the cost that went into this thing. But it is a remarkably understated, what do you call it? A remarkably understated gown compared to particularly what she had been wearing before.
Okay.
She walks out, and the princess thus far has whatever other feelings or her demeanor. I think, am I correct in thinking that you guys have taken it as hidden under a thick veneer of smug?
That's a fair assessment.
Okay. So she says, "You are welcomed once again before the Iridium Throne and in the court of King Oleb." And she launches in to, sorry, I should have had this open before. King Oleb, the Dragon Emperor of Sindal in exile, Lord Admiral of the Star Guard, Protector of the Whatsit, and then you hear kind of a yes, yes, yes from elsewhere in the court. And drifting down from the darkness of the ceiling, you see...
It's a pen. Dear.
Oh, I don't know if I actually loaded his illustration yet. So, oh, I did. Here we go. Here he is. King Oleb. The
Brace
rumors,
yourself, boys.
those very cruel rumors, are distinctly untrue. While he is a man of impressive physical presentation, He requires only one anti-grav belt in order to support his royal frame. And he drifts down. The boots, Captain Gani, are indeed those of King Oleb. You easily recognize that as he drifts down. Thank you, daughter. We need not go through the full list. These men have time that is valuable and a destination. I assume that they must meet on a pressing basis, for it seems their indirect route that they seem intent on traveling with an empty hull bespeaks important tasks to be done. And he lands with great pomp and impeccable timing as he goes down. Dane, you would know that they're not impossible by any means, but like people think that anti-grav belts are a lot easier to operate in a precision kind of way than what they actually are. So this is a guy, to his credit, that has no doubt done, 3G obstacle courses before in this kind of thing.
Oh, I suspect he has. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he lands. Welcome to my court, Dr. Elias. Ah, the reporter.
Yes.
Mr. Santoro, I appreciate you delivering that message from the intercessor through my daughter. I understand your reservations in breaching the terms with which you were charged to deliver that message to me. But I appreciate that you recognize that a royal personage such as myself cannot simply attend before every person who wishes to deliver a secret message. Indeed, the pile of such messages I keep in any month would stagger a mule. He looks at his daughter. A mule, do I have that right? And she says, yes, father, a mule. We have no mules on Drenax, no place to keep them even. Ha! Captain, Doctor, there's an interesting circumstance that brings a veteran of two branches of the Imperial Service and a physician whose interest previously seemed to be research together to travel my favored patch of space. What circumstances brought you two together?
The wreaths of fate, Your Majesty. My science vessel got into a bit of trouble, and I was lucky enough that Captain Garni here was in the vicinity and came to my rescue, and we struck up a friendship, dare I say, and a business venture.
And Captain, is that as you recall it as well?
It was indeed. It felt a good opportunity, and I'd found a good crew to join up with. And suddenly it felt we had a task at hand.
And what a crew! An ex-Imperial Marine, decorated. An ex-Imperial pilot, decorated. And you, Mr. Santoro, you I know the least of, although I understand you are a reporter.
It's a fair assessment.
We have no reporters on Drinax.
Oh.
The gossip travels fast enough on its own.
Yes, of course.
So what were the circumstances that led you to be in a position to be so trusted by an unconventional ruler such as the Intercessor? Mr. Santoro, you are the reporter, aren't you? Report!
Yes, well, it's a long story. We met under strange circumstances, and the Intercessor took a liking to me and my crew and saw us as trustworthy and travelers without an agenda in the area that would cause conflict with such a task as important as this. And we were happy to bring you this message.
You say you were travelers without an agenda. Is that truly the case, Mr. Santoro?
Well, no agenda here with your wonderful planet.
Ugh. My planet is wondrous, but it is
We
a
have
ruin.
enjoyed our time here.
My palace, you are correct, is a marvel. Did you know the contents of the Intercessor's message? Do not lie to me in my court. I have ways of knowing.
Did not.
Oh.
Then you would not know that the Intercessor told me that you were not to be trusted and should be, what is the earth saying, daughter? Clapped in irons.
If that is what the message says, we would not know that.
He is
Not
studying
be
each of
standing
you.
here.
Yeah.
We would hardly have given it to you, would we, Your Majesty?
Well, then it's good that it says nothing of the sort. Forgive me, you have proven yourself with your dealings with my daughter, and I should not further burden you with my own foolish machinations. That's how you put it, daughter, is it not? Yes, wise father.
Here it comes.
So, you travel here with an agenda, but not one at odds with my own. What do you know of my agenda?
Very little, to be honest, but
Then how would you so confidently speak of not being at odds with it?
well, we have no cards in the game here on your world.
So my dealings with my people are a game?
Of course not.
Doctor, is it as Mr. Santoro says that you and your partner, Captain Gani, travel without schemes or guiles or plans?
Yes, I would say so. We certainly travel with purpose, trade, the ability to visit places like yours, and I had the opportunity to benefit from the knowledge contained in your university. But Mr. Santoro is correct. We do not engage in politics or wish to interfere with any plans or agendas you might have, of course, Your Majesty.
And if I were to demand that you reveal your current purpose, to describe where it is you go and what it is you do. Would you reveal that to me?
We would kindly beg your forgiveness that we could not reveal such a thing. The same way we have not revealed anything about your message, or have even dared look into its contents, as we are people of honor.
You would risk offending the Dragon Emperor of Sindal. And Princess Rao says, in exile. In exile? By not revealing what was demanded of you within my chamber.
Dane at this point will be looking to see if there's been any sort of slight movements or tensioning from the associated Hawkmen around us.
Yeah, give us a recon check then, please. This one does seem to be more combat.
That probably is a recon, isn't it? Yeah.
You guys have like 14 luck left over, so.
Oh, well. No, that will have done something. Sorry, it's the first time I've done a roll in ages. Where is that? Where is that? Doesn't. Sometimes you click on the thing. And it doesn't. Hang on, I'll click on the thing there. That's it. Submit. Sorry. No, rubbish.
Now, if you spend 3 luck, that'll get that to a success.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you.
So this is what you can tell. You recognize drilled soldiers. They all have their weaponry, and it's a split second away from like snapping into place and firing. You know, they're not pointing at you right now and whatnot. And like the casual observer might think that they're just like in a like a parade, you know, kind of position. But assuming that they have a caliber, you may remember when you guys were looking at which way to go through, there was that remnant of the Star Guard that was in one planet. The reputation they have is at being comparable in terms of training and efficacy of any member of the Imperial Navy or Imperial Marines. So assuming that remains the case with his wing guard, they're yeah,
I'm sure they're more than just toy soldiers.
Yeah, and likely you might be the only one who would notice that, you know, the looming sword, as it were.
Yeah.
There.
So, what did the king ask last?
Would risk his displeasure by not revealing something he'd asked us. I think Dr. Elias will actually briefly look over at Captain Ghani to see if he wants to step in. Just about like I was reflexing as was addressed to, you know, the.
It was directed to either of you as the owner of the ship, it seems.
And just sort of exchange a quick glance with Captain Ghani.
No, we'll go with you, Dr. Elias.
Okay,
But
I would.
Don't go with me.
I would hope that Your Majesty, who is renowned for his magnanimity and his wisdom, would understand the situation we are in and would not wish to put us into a place where we would be forced to displease you.
And you think, were I to learn of your purpose, that this royal personage would be offended?
On the contrary, Your Majesty, I think you would be mostly bored. We are merchants, traveling. Our affairs are far beneath the splendor of your palace.
Indeed. Merchants.
our mission is trivial to someone as yourself, but, you know, for ourselves, we must uphold our contracts. You know, our word is our bond, and that is how we have pursued our trade, as being one of the crews and ships that one can rely on. And therefore, we need to complete what we start. Even when it puts us in a difficult position.
Is your bond. And he looks over at Princess Rao once again, and Princess Rao, subtly, but not so much that you guys wouldn't be able to pick up, kind of gives an eyebrow up and a subtle nod of her head. That is most commendable. And he gestures, and from somewhere concealed in the wings, there have been servants waiting, and 4 walk out with chairs, equally as ornate and as detailed, and whatnot as anything else you've seen in here. But they walk out. Each of the servants take their place behind each of you, places them down. And
I just lean over to Dr. Elias and say, revised percentage chance of sparkling wine and canopies.
He gestures and says, "Sit. I would converse with you." He takes a time to sit himself down in the chair, and he has that thing where, like, maybe he didn't fit in this, or it didn't feel quite the same, but he doesn't settle easily into it. It's a bit of a, dog finding its place. It wants to settle itself. And then he sits down, and Princess Rao takes her place right behind his left side. And he says, "Well, what are your plans, then? You have a purpose now, you say. I also hear you have availed yourself of our fine shipyard. You are arming yourself. When men take up arms, I question why."
To be honest, Your Highness, it is nothing to do with our particular mission. It is, as you understand, in these areas, the ship lanes are perilous. And we have simply, up to this point, never been in a financial position to do the necessary. So it is more serendipity of commercial success rather than anything related to our immediate task.
Yes, and quite the success. Did you turn, how is it, daughter? And she leans in, a tidy profit. Did you turn a tidy profit from your trade from Hilfer?
We had good fortunes in the market, sir.
You had good friends. I understand the intercessor intercessed in your favor, and you made a tidy profit.
We did indeed leave on very good terms with the intercessor.
So he
was kind enough to provide us assistance
to me. But why did you deign to deliver the message to my lovely and brilliant daughter instead of my august personages, when it was expressly requested by your friend?
We attempted 3 times to speak with you, and we were turned down by your daughter. How many times should we insist?
Daughter, did you deny them appearance before me? And she says, august father, I informed them that I am your proxy in all matters diplomatic. And he said, yes, that's right! She is my proxy in all things diplomatic.
And as this was a matter of diplomacy, bringing a message from one friend to hopefully another, I believe we handed over the message to your Augustness. And Dr. Elias will look over at Alonso and go, he won't make the gesture, but there's something in his eyes. He was like,
Yeah.
Would I be correct to say you found yourself in a position of offending the princess before you, or offending the king you had yet to make acquaintance? Oh, my hounds! Quiet, hounds!
I would say that is a fair assessment.
And you were forced to make a decision.
we had to adapt to the circumstances as they were presented to us.
And do you regret your decision? Or do you stand by your actions?
I do not regret our decision, but I can only speak for myself.
And you, Captain? Does Dr. Ilias speak
does indeed.
for the crew?
I feel he does. We trusted that we were doing the right thing in dealing with your esteemed daughter. We judged, and we could have been wrong, that indeed she did act for you. And we had to use our judgment there. So we felt that we were obeying the spirit, if not the letter, of our agreement. And that we generally feel that doing what is intended is the most important thing.
He looks up at Princess Rao once again, and she, again, the eyebrow cocked and kind of subtly nods, turns back. I will not press on your current purpose. You have deigned to keep it from me, and I will not demand its presentation. Men are entitled to their secrets, and I will not insist that you deliver yours to me. Particularly,
Just as if we were in your service. Oh.
Please go on, Captain. If you were in my service,
You could expect similar loyalty and discretion from us.
indeed, as you say, your word is your bond. Setting aside this mysterious purpose, what do you want? And he leans back in the chair as if he has said something of great import.
Dr. Elias, over to you.
Currently, we merely seek to finish our business here and be about our purpose. Should other opportunities arise in the future, I believe we are not averse to being open to proposals.
he looks up at Princess Rao, and she says, "Your current engagement, when will it conclude?"
What's the timeline, Graham?
Yeah.
He switches over to his accounting suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were on week 21. Could you remind us, Kevin, when the...
I think you had 4 months in order to get there, so that's...
Okay.
Oh, no, maybe it was longer. Hold up. Here we go.
This could be slightly inaccurate. I think we've been going...
16 weeks to get there.
Okay. I'm going to say it's going to be a further 7 to 8 weeks. Maximum. I think we've been going
I think you have, what, 1, 2, 3... You have at least 4 more jumps. So there's at least between jumping into empty space, jumping to the world, jumping to Sync, jumping back to... It's not Liawaha. What's the ultimate destination again? Aaron Sear? Is that it? No, that was the place that was attacked.
No, it's...
Tyok.
Tyok.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
at
if you
least...
allow 2 weeks per jump, ish, then it's about 8 weeks.
8 weeks, yeah.
It's a week for jump, but
Okay.
in system travel, etc.
Looks at her. So she nods and looks down at her father. And after that, have you employment or contracts prepared to keep your crew busy?
We have not.
Shall be again in search of suitable employment.
I will not pry as to where your destination is. But I would ask whether your travels will bring you back to my fine world.
Sounds. Dr. Ilias, that sounds most reasonable.
Of course, there's so much more at the university that I would wish to partake in and study. There, your bazaars, your hospitality. I'm sure we would be eager to return.
Indeed. There are some who
Trinette.
say that my presence can indeed be overwhelming. Weeks to recover. A representative from the General Development Corporation once said. I think he intended to flatter. I think it worked. You had work done on your vessel when you were in the starport. Why did you not have other changes made to your vessel? Is it because of your impoverished state? I am led to believe your maneuver drive is the same as is installed on such stock vessels. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
If you intend
Disappointingly
on
so.
avoiding pirates and other such ne'er-do-wells, you cannot maneuver as a box drifting in a stream. In a stream.
With the greatest respect, to avoid pirates, we shouldn't be in this current box at all.
Indeed. I know
As you so
nothing of
eloquently
your...
put.
I know nothing of your background, Dane Lothric, other than the reputation of your branch. You must be a good judge of war-ready vessels.
I'm more a boots on the ground kind of a person.
Indeed.
Just a simple soldier, retired.
A simple soldier retired, eh? A story almost as compelling as any that Mr. Santoro could compose. Indeed?
Possibly.
Probably. But yes.
You are
we
aware,
just-
of course, Dr. Ilias and Captain Gani, that our shipyards are both stocked with and capable of installing much more sophisticated and responsive maneuver drives.
I am not an expert on such things, Your Majesty. I defer such judgments to my more competent crew colleagues on these matters.
Captain, I take it you are aware we can install such things?
I confess that when I was working my way around the shipyards, I had inquired as to the possibilities of what could and could not be done with a far trader. So indeed I did hear. But as you said, our funds were short.
What you need is better friends.
Friends in high places, even.
And is there any higher place than a flying city? Eh? He hits his daughter as if like he's so pleased with that little turn.
What is her reaction? Is she just of long suffering while used to this, or is she keeping it all?
She
closed?
actually, yeah, like this is not the dynamic that you're getting from the two of them is not the matter of like a long-suffering daughter or whatnot. She, honestly, if you were to guess, what a great fucking personality to hide behind if you're the Gray Eminence, right? Is this great big loudmouth, but still pretty, articulate and canny ruler. She seems delighted that he is delighted, I think might be the way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So once he finishes laughing and catches his breath, from what you have said, your purpose takes you elsewhere presently. Do I have the measure of that correctly?
Yes.
Then, I think... He looks up at his daughter. At the least, to express my gratitude for your delivery of the service or the message from the intercessor. It seems only fair. We reimburse your costs for fuel, both for your vessel and that curious extra bladder that you have installed in your hull. I would hate to think any would find a friend of King Oleb would not feel appreciated. So you can reimburse whatever the fuel costs that you had, Dane. You can put that back in your bank.
Okay, I've got that.
Now, I would customarily enjoy a meal with new acquaintances. But this crown hangs heavy, and I have matters to attend to, and I will need my daughter's assistance. But I do hope that this will not be the last time I enjoy your company in my court.
Your Honor, as Your Majesty, we would be delighted to return.
Delighted, daughter. Did you hear that? Then, I wish you safe travels. May your new armaments keep you well, and give thought to what more you might do. Were that your Rift Wanderer, father, your Rift Wanderer might be, would that it were more agile. You are dismissed. He slumps back into his chair, and Princess Rao steps forward and says, you will find the cost of your fuel refunded, and please accept your purchases on our king's, in our king's bazaar, to likewise be gifts from his benevolent personage.
That's nice.
We wish you safe travels.
Yeah.
And
Dane's too coy to say, but the birthing costs as well.
I think you can safely assume that would be the case. Yeah, that I didn't think of it, Kev, the marshal, but yeah, you absolutely, or referee.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he'll reimburse those as well.
All right, I'll just change that.
Then, with that, you can kind of see the guard step out, which kind of gives you the indication of, like, it's time to fuck off. Servants appear, and once you guys stand up, they remove the chairs, and you guys are escorted from the audience. Is there anything you wish to say before you depart from King Oleb's presence?
I think of 101 things, but I'm not going to say anything.
I guess Achilles would do whatever the traditional Sindalan, my liege, Your Majesty, blessings on your house saying would have been or would be.
Okay. So he accepts those, and both he and his daughter are smiling the entire time until you leave the actual chamber itself. And then once again, you guys find yourself leaving the palace and viewing through the crush of crowd and viewing the gardens. So whatever modicum of privacy that you may reasonably anticipate, you likely are enjoying it now. So, you all look at one another. This is your first opportunity to speak to one another.
That went better than I thought. I was expecting those chairs to grab our wrists and tie us down.
Yes, went much better than expected.
He still didn't serve any drinks.
No, I noticed.
So you were right. 3% was good odds.
Yeah,
there you go. Could have been a lot worse. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's alluding to us in his employ acquiring something a little different from a stock light freighter.
I would admit I was half expecting him to just offer us the drive the way he was. But interesting character.
It was good that we didn't dwell on that. The time it would take to, augment a stock freighter with additional drives would start to get us into the territory about what we were doing and why we needed to do it quickly. So I was quite glad that conversation moved on. But that's interesting. It looks like we might be coming back here, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. But there are worse places to be.
Gardens for us.
Alonso, any thoughts yourself?
I mean, I don't know if he's excited by the idea of working for the Pirate King, but I don't know if he'd tell his allies that. Doesn't want to necessarily push that right now. Things are much more important going on out there, so I don't think he'd get too deep into that.
I think we'll do well to get off this rock ball as quickly as possible and press on with what we need to get on with. But yeah.
On that note, Dane, seeing how well informed him and his daughter were about us in general, and seeing as their personnel has now had access to our ship to mount weapons and such things, do we need to run some diagnostic to avoid? I know I'm a bit paranoid about these things now, but once bitten, twice shy. Any tracking, any such things?
I don't know, Doctor. Just give me your phone for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we do need to do that. I think that's fair enough.
So, anything else you wish to discuss or to deal with in the floating palace of King Oleb?
I will say to the crew, I think, just if we got an opportunity to say that without wishing to be too coy, what I'm looking for personally is if I get out of the things alive, I might want to try and find an employ with Tila Tora in his house. And that is something that I would like to try and achieve. I think I may have a future as an employee in the Aslan Hirat, if with him, and if he has a purpose that he thinks I could fit. That is what my goal is. If that is successful, and there is, I do live, and there is a possibility of that, then I think I will take that employ, and I'm very happy for us to negotiate shares or ship shares at that time. But that's kind of where I'm heading, just so I'm being transparent with you. That's nothing may come of it, in which case that's fine, but that's kind of what I would like to see happen.
Are you including Ultima 1 in this discussion?
Yeah.
As crew?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's full crew. Yeah, he's full crew now. So, yeah. I haven't discussed this with Tila Tora, and he may find that beneath him. I really don't know. I don't know.
Well, and I think his expectation is that he's going there to effectively, commit suicide by ritual combat. You guys have discussed amongst yourselves what the potential stratagems might be there, but I don't think you guys have discussed it with Tila Tora himself, since he had that kind of rage fit.
Yeah. Maybe that's something I could do. Or someone could do.
Yeah, and I think that's...
once we're
go ahead.
approaching, is it Sink next or the World? One of the two places he wanted us to go.
Yeah.
And have a chance to ask questions about what he wants to do there and if it's part of the wider picture or something more personal, and maybe he'll open up about what he's planning.
Well, one of the things you definitely, I think, learned from here, while obviously Tila Toril isn't occupying the same position as what the King Oleb is, as far as influence and temporal power, he is a noble, and one thing maybe to draw from this is that one way to get to the truth of nobles is through their retainers and through their proxies. You guys may remember on Hernan's Claim, there was that how you guys ended up meeting Tila Toril in the first place and getting him off there was through those who were loyal to him and his family. So it's not sure who. It's unlikely, given that he is a member of an Aslan family from the Hyrate, that his retainers at present are anyone other than he wouldn't be going to meet anyone else likely other than other Aslan. So whoever he's meeting with, they may give you some insight into whatever's going on in his head, or how he might, how you might broach what you're proposing, Dane, with him.
Yeah, I think Dane's instincts would be to go direct, but certainly, as you say, Dr. Ilias, as we head to our next location, we might start to understand a bit more about his own stratagem and what he's trying to do before we actually get to our destination. See when we get there.
Pretty dramatic end. You guys arrive nowhere and then find your fuel's been tainted or sabotaged.
Yeah, full diagnostics when we get back.
All right. Then anything else you guys wish to do at the floating palace before you make your departure? Ultima 1 will happily assist with the diagnostics as well.
Okay.
And I think that Elias is happy to leave this place for now.
Yeah, let's go.
Alonso, Captain Ganny?
Agreed.
Yeah, it's been an interesting visit, but I am ready to move on.
Yeah.
All right. So then, the following morning, repairs have been completed, upgrades are concluded. You guys are ready to make your departure from the planet of Drinax and bid farewell to King Oleb. Let's see here. Where's my rule book? Departing is not going to be an issue. Oh, the diagnostic scan. So you're going to roll with a boon because Ultima, one is going to assist with it. But who would like to make the electronics computers check for us? You're sitting on a good chunk of luck.
I think, Alonso, you're the best, aren't you?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay. So make sure you've got boon ticked.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's like a thing. Boon. There we go. Got it. Computers.
Incredible.
Wow.
As far as you can tell, and you've done a comprehensive search, there's nothing untoward that has been installed in relation to the new components and whatnot, but I will tell you something. Someone has been accessing the full ship's computer, and you're not able to tell who it is.
Okay. I'll be able to tell how successful the access was, or whether our security and firewalls kind of held them off?
What
Do
you
we know
can
what
tell,
files have been accessed?
it has been complete access, and it is both. You cannot tell when, but it does appear to be before you came to Drenax.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, whoever accessed, they have sealed off whatever is going on, but this could have happened on Hilfer, it could have happened on Tech World, it could have happened on Argona, Spurl, any of the places you guys have gone.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
Apart from that, though, it does not appear to be any. Whatever was done, whatever was accessed, as far as you can tell, the existing database is intact. Yeah, it might not be a terrible idea at the earliest opportunity to pick up software to try and assist with, because this could have been when someone was accessing it to do maintenance. It could have been come from that initial burst of data that comes when you access the local kind of whatever the network is. Doesn't seem to be anything untoward either. As far as you can tell, that's a really good roll. You did a really comprehensive search, given how complex this place is. But yeah, and unfortunately, Ultima 1 is not able to assist in any further, and apart from identifying the actual access. Will that prevent you from departing, or are you heading out?
No, I think we need to go.
Doctor?
Let's leave now. And this happened before Drenax, and we've not noticed any negative effects. Then sure, we can leave Drenax hopefully and worry about it en route.
Yep.
I think so.
So as you guys are departing, it'll take you a few days to reach the safe jump distance from the planet, but you leave the barren gray or brownish gray rock of Drenax behind. There is no further word from the palace at all. In fact, you might think that there has been no record of your visits with them at all. The palace does regularly publish sort of the itinerary of King Oleb, and curiously, none of the 3 visits you had with them are on record.
Of course not.
As
I guess
you are,
in some ways, we expect that.
what do you guys recall about the portents when ancient Earthers viewed a comet in the sky?
Mostly negative, sign of times of change, upheaval.
Well, hopefully when you are aloft in the heavens with one, those portents are not the same, because what you guys pass, or at least chase for a time as you are going out, is a comet passing through the Drenaxi system. That's the random encounter I rolled for that. So apart from...
I wonder if we see that as like a dolphin. I wonder it's guiding us out.
Yeah, I picture it like the way that it's described. It does seem as if it's tracking. So perhaps it's coming out of system in the same direction that you guys are heading.
Yeah, it's like the cosmos is saying this way.
Yeah. Then,
very romantic of Dane. Where did that come from?
So then, preparing for jump travel. Who is our astrogator? Is that Anchor?
Okay, yes.
Dr. Elias can do some astrogation.
Outstanding.
Marvelous.
Give us an easy astrogation check, please.
Here we go. Oh,
Easy.
Fantastic.
Follow that comet.
That is a mixed result there, because that is, yeah, look at that one. Okay, so no problem. You have your astrogation set. Anna says congratulations on that. Firing up the jump drive is an easy engineered J drive check. Captain, is that in your wheelhouse?
No, that is in my wheelhouse. J drive check. Easy, so that... Oh, okay, I'll just roll the dice anyway.
Yeah. You do have luck left over. The only thing you cannot re-roll is snake eyes. But Anna says, I'm sure that won't happen. Oh, wait, she changed her mind. Let's see.
Yeah.
No, it didn't happen. There we go. Awesome. And you guys drop into jump in the warm embrace of the warp bubble. Now, I need to grab one book because I forgot to grab it. Ooh.
So this is us dropping into an empty parsec, isn't it? As I remember.
Yes, I believe we had
I have
agreed
my usual
on
repertoire.
2225.
Sorry,
Yep.
guys.
And then jump over to Sync from there, then World,
Yep.
and then Tayok.
That's right.
Okay, so let's bring you over to Eold.
We've got a very nice, we've got a nice contribution in chat. Kev,
Oh, thanks so much, Rick. That is very, very generous of you. Thank you very much. That is very kind, and yeah, with that, thank you very, very much. I'm glad to hear that you are enjoying the tale thus far. As is always the case, I am so sorry for what's going to happen next session, but all right, then let's see here. I'm not going to pick on the captain because of the internet connection, but Jeffrey, why don't you give us a D6 roll, please?
Yes. Got it.
I was good about grabbing all the complement of books that I typically grab, but I forgot.
Solid 4.
Ooh,
Solid.
Excellent. That means would both Dane or Graham and David, would you each give us a D66, a D66 roll, please?
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I sense a table.
I love me a good table. Okay, so, and I realize this is a non sequitur, but I've talked about, or we've talked about, I think, offline about like factions or whatever else too. The green books that were released for Mongoose First Edition, the Star Wars Traveler book that we were talking about on the server yesterday, that makes great use of a lot of the stuff from there, and those green books have a ton of great things like organizations and trust within them and influence with them. So there's already great rules for that I need. Well, there are rules for that. I don't know whether they're great or not, but I intend on looking at those for this.
So I think the D66.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
worked,
it rolled a 66. Yeah, so maybe roll 2d6 and I'll read them.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I saw a 9 there, and I thought,
this is where we've. Yeah.
There we go. 52.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Case.
And then, Doctor, if you could kindly do the same. So 52.
I'm not sure if David's just dropped out for a moment.
Ooh. Oh, did he leave the call as well? No, David's still in the Zoom call right now.
Yeah.
Nope, he's gone.
No, he has gone.
It's winked out of existence. We'll give him a sec here to get back in. But I'll take a look at the 52. Okay. Oh, that's very interesting. And then, well, why don't you give us a 2d6 roll, please? I'll wait for, and I'll put the, hold on. I think I still have the link. Yep, there we go. So David's not scrolling back. 23.
Yeah.
Eh? Okay. So that is going to be something we'll have to talk about next time, but I will make note. We got a 52 and we got a 23 that were rolled. I think when we see what that portends, we'll know precisely who to blame. So then with that brings us to the end of session 23 of our ongoing Borderland Run Traveler campaign. We'll wait. I'll let David back in as soon as he gets back on or gets back in. But for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 23 of our Borderland Run campaign. As is always the case, please don't hesitate. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down in the description of the video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and we have a channel there dedicated to this game, this campaign at least, as well as most of the games and campaigns we run on the channel. There is also a bunch of other great channels over there, like Finding a Group or GM Discussion or Virtual Tabletop Discussion. So tons of great people over there. You are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a terrific selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If there is not something in stock in their extensive collection, you can put it on a want list and they'll send you an email when it comes in. In addition, if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserWinter. All caps, all one word. It's listed in the description of the video, and you'll save yourself 10% on your purchase. That is going to change as of April 15th, 2024. So if you're listening to this after that time, come back to one of our more recent videos and we will have the more current discount code listed then. There is also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. It is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel that benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity. All donations that go through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. All donations go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out them. And we have been running charity sessions this year to thank donors from last year, but anyone who has donated since January 1st, 2023 for $25 or more, you will be able to vote this next month, starting in early April. Every week in April, you'll be able to vote on a different component for our next charity session, and that will be on May the 4th. And perhaps unsurprisingly, we will be playing a Star Wars role-playing game, 2 sessions of it, I believe, that day, that will be voted on by the donors. Donors will be voting every week on different elements of the adventure, including what era we're playing in, and continuity and out of continuity options will be there. What kind of heroes we're playing. Are we playing Jedi? Are we playing Rebels? Are we playing something else? What kind of villains they're facing, and what role-playing game we're going to use to play it. We have many excellent options, including a Star Wars Traveler conversion. So there are lots of options for playing Star Wars, and a donation of $25 or more through the Hero Save Villages campaign is all you need to be able to vote on all elements of that, as well as whatever other charity sessions we're running for the second half of the year once we have concluded this first batch of ones. Again, all donations go directly to the charity. None of it goes to us, so it just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services, and you'll have a chance to vote on where we're going in a galaxy far, far away. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart players. So David, although he has made his departure, our stalwart travelers, I should say. David, Graham, Jeffrey, and James, thank you so much for playing today. Carl, you're in our thoughts as well, too. Nothing, as far as we understand, has gone awry. Just, Carl, we miss you today. I hope you're having a great weekend as well. And we will be back in the space between spaces in 2 weeks' time to find out what those portentous rolls mean. And until we see you again, stay safe. Well, I guess first off, until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and see the troubles our heroes have had navigating the perilous court of King Oleb of Drinax. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.